Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Tuesday Night Live show for April 19th, 2022. Now, have you ever seen those posts on social media that start out with, "Hi, I'm new and just getting started playing Santa, and my wife is Mrs. Claus, and we was asked to do a party for a friend. How do you figure out how much to charge?" So it turns out you've decided that as a couple, you're ready to enter the entertainment arena and become Christmas performers. Now you realize that taking on the role of Santa and Mrs. Claus will obviously have an extreme learning curve associated with such an undertaking. The first thing you should consider is seeking professional help. No, not that kind, but a Santa school. Tonight's guests will share their path and why they did exactly that. So stay right here. I'm Santa Bob McMasters, and we'll have more right after this. This is Tuesday Night Live. Welcome back to our show, and at this time, please say hello to my co-host, Santa Barry Cummins.
Hey, everybody. Glad to be with you tonight. Hope your week is off to a great start. Thank you for being with us tonight.
Also give a very warm welcome to our world-famous producer, Elf Angela Mack, who said in the background, "Good evening to all." Well, folks, we're so glad to be with you here at Season 2, Week 15, and our guest tonight is such a delightful couple who just attended our SatBobS classes in Texas a few weeks ago. I, for one, absolutely fell in love with Eric and Moeisha, and I know you will too. They have had quite the journey moving around as often military life dictates. Their journey as Santa and Mrs. Claus is just beginning. They will be coming up in a moment, but first, over to Barry for these messages.
All right, everyone. First, reach over there, give us a like and share this stream to help build our viewership in the show tonight. We know you have a choice with your time on Tuesday nights, and thank you so much for being with us. The first half of the Tuesday Night Live show trivia is sponsored by Derek Dugan, Sleigh Driver Apparel Company. Thank you, Derek, for your sponsorship. All right, this category is movie trivia tonight. This actor grew a beard and gained 40 pounds to play the Santa role in a movie which he won his only Oscar as Kris Kringle in 1947. This actor grew a beard and gained 40 pounds just to play the Santa role in which he won his only Oscar as Kris Kringle in 1947. Good luck with those answers.
That's correct. And remember, if you've won in the last 30 days, you are in timeout. So until you're eligible again, you cannot play along. You can only watch and hope.
I think I'm going to tell everybody I gained 40 pounds just to play the role of Santa. You think that'll work, Bob?
Hey, I think most of us fit in that category. That's all for right. Sure.
Hope everybody's doing good and seeing some guesses coming in.
That's correct. All right, so the trivia question answers will be revealed towards the end of the show tonight, as we've been doing for the last few weeks now. So go ahead and keep the answers coming in, and we will figure out who the winner is and post that tomorrow in the SatBobS Live group, as we've been doing also. All right, Barry.
All right, tonight's guest joins us from Killeen, Texas, where they've been living now for 10 years. They got married to one another in 2005, and both have served our country gallantly and seen multiple deployments in many different capacities. They have one heck of a story to share with all of us. Please welcome tonight's guest, to the Tuesday Night Live show, Mr. and Mrs. Eric and Moeisha Elliott. Welcome,
Hi, guys.
Hey.
Looking good tonight. Hey, I love that apron you have on.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Eric, your beard looks nice, man.
Well, I'm working on it. We're trying
Coming
to
in
get
really nice, really
trying to
nice.
get where yours is.
Well, you know what? It took a couple of years to get here, and poor Barry, he lost a lot of his because he tried this new technique of wrapping his beard up when while he was processing. So, but he's catching up. He's coming along really well now too. All right, guys. Well, let's get started off by getting to know you both. First off, thank you both for your service. You're both retired military. I told you that in Garland, but I also want to tell you again here on the show.
Thank you for your support.
You both have a fascinating stories, but as you said, where to begin your medical journey, because it really was a journey. No one can tell you a story like you can. So at this point, I'm going to make it easy. We're both of you taking turns as you did in your bio. Tell us about your younger years and bringing us up to the point where you both entered into the military.
Okay. We'll start off like this. Well, I'm the youngest of three children born in Cleveland, Ohio. And when I grew up, pretty much I was a loner. And at the age of 15, I said, well, Lord, could you send me somebody just for me who would accept me for just being me?
And that same year, I was a single child at the time, born in San Antonio, Texas. Both my parents were active duty Air Force. And I've always loved Christmas. I was 3 the first time I met Santa and fell in love. He just didn't know it. My biological father was killed while on active duty, causing my mother and I to move to Cincinnati, Ohio.
And then during that time, which my father remarried when I was a junior in high school. And then when, like I say, once he remarried, I ended up moving down south to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and ended up staying with my stepmom's mother. And then from there, and did a lot of sports, keep me preoccupied so I could stay out of trouble. I wrestled, played football, did a lot of music.
And while he was doing that, I was enjoying riding my red tricycle while watching Gilligan's Island. Ginger was the best.
Okay.
There you go. I like that.
Okay, so after that, at graduation, then I ended up I was a walk-on at Southern University, which is a historically black institution. I was a walk-on and ended up getting my degree. My degree was in mechanical engineering technology. And from that point, got married the first time and had 2 sons.
Well, during this time, my mother remarried. And boy, did my parents love one another. Because 4 children later, there's 5 of us total. I became the master of entertaining children, AKA a babysitter. On a side note, every summer, I would fly down to Florida to spend time with family. And my very first solo flight was at 5 years old. And that's when I earned my pilot wings from Delta Airlines.
Yes, Air Force. Yeah, I get it. Okay, so then, after graduating, I decided to put my degree to some use. So I ended up trying to go and work for it's a company called Exxon. And I just didn't like the chemicals, and it was, it really sucked. So I was like, nope, that's not for me. So I decided to go ahead and walk on to the Professional Football League. Because during that time frame, that's when the new Professional Football League had started. It was called the USFL. And after I had a devastating kind of bad knee injury, I was forced to change careers again. And I ended up being a strength and conditioning coach back at Southern University.
And don't worry, at that time, I'm still babysitting and watching football with my dad. And I just knew I was going to marry a football player one day.
Okay. And as for me moving on through the years, I've held various positions from brink security, armor guard, things that just didn't work out between me and the first wife. So we ended up divorcing, remarried again, started a new family to include 3 more children.
Now, don't worry, I'm still living my best life babysitting. Just kidding. I was excelling in school, loving the arts, playing in the orchestra, crushing school records in track and field.
Okay, now, well, for me, there was, some was still, let me see, still missing. You know, you're looking for that one individual that you need to help solidify your life, but couldn't find her at the time. So I ended up enlisting in the military, in the Army. Now, when I came in the Army, that was in 1988, I ended up being a tanker. That's shooting big bullets, if you all don't know what that is. Not driving the fuelers, not that. So I was stationed in a place called Wilflicken, Germany. That's really spelled Wildflicken, Germany. Where?
Well, for me, after high school, my parents asked me to go to college in Ohio. So I went to school in Kentucky just to make them happy.
Well, okay. While during that time, I relocated to Fort Knox. That was just like 63 miles away from
where I went to college at Kentucky State University. University.
Yeah.
University.
University.
Bear with me.
I got you.
All right.
Okay. So from that point, let me see.
Well, for me, college didn't work out. So I returned back to Cincinnati with all of my brothers and sisters and my parents. And I worked with children during the day at a place called the Learning Zone. And at night, I worked with a clown known as Ronald McDonald. And yeah, someone was still missing.
Okay.
And after my mom's love and persuasion, I went ahead and I joined the Air Force. And my first duty station was at Tinker Air Force Base, Oklahoma. And that was during the Oklahoma City bombing.
Okay, so that's kind of it, Barry, in a nutshell, kind of what we were doing.
Eric, if you would tell everybody which team you played for in the USFL.
Okay, like see, it was the New Orleans Breakers. Now they're playing now, in the new league. So, one thing I did watch, because I watched them this weekend, I watched to see if my number was being used, and it wasn't. I wore number 50, so, and I also played outside linebacker and long snapping center. So it was a nice ride.
That's really cool. That's a dream for a lot of kids growing up like me. I was always undersized, but I always wanted to be a professional football player. So congratulations on that.
Well, I thank you.
Eric, if you would, let's pick up from where you described as things. Now here's where things get interested. And both of you bring us up to 2012 and living there in Killeen, Texas.
Okay, let me see. From there, okay, I moved back to Germany after I left Fort Knox, and then I was stationed to a place called Vilsack.
And I got stationed in a place called Ramstein. Both of these places are in Germany. We were literally 182 miles from one another.
Passing in the wind. Always passing in the wind. What makes things even more interesting is this, we were going to the same church and never saw each other.
So I was at the 86 MSS, Mission Support Group.
That was the answer to the question.
Oh, that was the answer to a question. Sorry about that. Someone asked a question. I just answered the question. My bad. Well, okay. By this time, I was in an abusive marriage and I had 2 babies of my own.
Okay. From there, needless to say, I ended up moving back to Fort Hood here in Texas. So things weren't working out with the current marriage. And I knew something just wasn't right. So then that's when 9/11 hit. And I get sent back to Bosnia for a second time. And by now, I had to reclass into the Intel career field, which is military intelligence. I know most people want to say oxymoron, but no, it's really that. And I was called in what they would call, most people would understand this as being involved with the dark side.
And when 9/11 hit, as for me, my mom and aunt, they flew into Germany and they took both of our babies back to the States while I deployed to Bosnia.
And then that's where we met.
Yeah, man.
Great. Best deployment ever out of the 16 that I've had. Okay. Getting back. Okay. So this is how this ended up happening. I ended up going to the airport because I am picking up certain people. And I see her she was bending down, she was stooping down, and she had her coat on. I really couldn't see, but when you walk past somebody and your spirit says, "Hey, that's her," and I'm like, "What's her?" He said, "That's your wife." I said, "But that can't be. Not yet."
Yeah, well, keep in mind, I just came through a town where there's buildings that's been bombed, and there's people still living in these buildings, and you have women and children walking around with flak vests on, and I'm thinking, what in the world? It was my very first deployment, so I'm like, what is going on? So I get to the airport, and I'm just looking for my bag, and I see you, and I'm thinking, man, you're a big dude.
Yeah, right. No, I am sitting to a point where I'm praying, Lord, what's going on here? Where do you want me to go from? So I start hiding from her because you have this magnet and you want to go, but you're like, no, this can't be. It's one of those instances where it's too good to be true. I thought. Well,
yeah, you did your best to avoid me. It's all right. It didn't work.
Yeah, I know.
So we end up having to work together. And what we found is we are a very effective team.
Yes. Very.
And we worked for high-ranking officials, and they even noted that we had the best joint military team they had ever seen. And on a side note, got a lot of side notes, right? I'll never forget my first weekend there. So here it is, Sunday morning. I'm tired, and I hear someone playing drums. And I'm thinking, who in the world plays drums in a deployed location on a Sunday morning? So I'm really feeling myself at this point. And I'm going to give this person a piece of my mind because I'm tired. So I go into this cafe, and I go to this room that's off to the left. I open the door, and I realize they're having chaplain service. It's a church service, and to make matters worse, he was the one who was playing the drums. So immediately, I'm trying to back out before anybody sees me, but it's too late. They grab me and say, "Oh, you're welcome." And I'm thinking, Lord, please don't set me on fire. Please don't set me on fire. Don't set me on fire. And man, thank God he didn't.
Well, okay. So when we had downtime, we found that we were in some, we had a lot of favorite pastimes together.
Like football.
I did not know that I finally found someone
who loves football.
Okay, just not football. Every sport. Okay, man's dream. Wife loves football. Life loves sports. Wife, not just, I want to sit there and talk about it. No, she understands down and distance. She understands third down. She understands punt return. She understands kickoff return. You don't have to explain these things. She understands what's 1st and 20 and the guys on the left hand. She understands formations. You're like,
I'm just geeked out because of the fact he played football. How about I actually Googled him? Well, that was before they had Google, but I went on the internet because he said, I play professional football. I said, let me check this out real quick. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, well, it ended up, put it like this, that was really the best tour that I could say I've ever had in my whole military career. Okay? Now our tour is over, and it's time to return back to Germany.
I have to go back to Germany.
Sure.
And, it was hard because, once again, we were all alone.
Yes.
And it's one of those, it's as if we've known each other our entire life. And it's like, man, even though you're in a deployed location and you have a specific mission, you just don't want to leave because you finally found your friend.
Yeah.
So I get back to Germany, and it's time for me to get an assignment. And a colleague of mine, they asked, where did I want to be reassigned? Well, I didn't know Air Force personnel could be stationed to Army posts. So I said a prayer with God, and I said, look here, look, man.
Yes.
Okay. If it's meant for us to be together, then Lord, send me to Fort Hood. And the very next day, I got an assignment to Fort Hood, Texas. So I was a believer. And to this day, I've been a believer. So.
Okay, so now, by now, I'm back in Fort Hood, and I was blown away. And she was coming.
Yep.
I was like, come on.
Yep.
All these things, the stars are aligning.
Yes.
Everything is in motion.
Yes.
Well, here we go. So, make a long story long, we both get divorced, and we get married to each other in 2005. And I end up adopting the 2 children that she had. So now we're living what we call that happily ever after. So I've deployed 16 times and, dealing with all of that kind of stuff and military careers. And
our final move was to Fort Hood, Texas.
And here we are now.
Ever since.
So that was our history.
That is,
Service.
I mean, I absolutely love it. I'm sitting over here laughing so hard, I got tears running down my face. You guys are amazing. So at this point, Barry, you got any follow-up questions on that before we move along?
No, just this amazing story. Thank you guys for your service again.
So at this point, let's take a short breather right here. This is where we always come in with a special product announcement. So you guys stay with us. On the other side of this, we'll be right back and we'll do some more cool stuff.
Okay.
That can only mean one thing. Stop the show because it's time for the Tuesday Night Live Showstopper Special for this week's StuffForSanta.com Showstopper Special. Let's go straight up to the head clown at large and in charge, Mr. Clown Spangle.
Hello, guys. Hello, and thank you for having me again. Oh, my gosh. Hey, check it out. Change bag. Beautiful color, too. Kind of a match for your Santa. This is great. It's got the zipper on the bottom, so you can see right on through there. How we're going to do that. But anyways, it's cool. You reach in there. There's nothing in there. Reach inside there. Oh, my God. There's all kinds of stuff in there when you know a clown to have balloons in there. Anyways, once again, the bag is completely empty. Look at that. There's a hole right through there. Zip that up. Got the zipper on the bottom. Zip it up. Open it up. And ta-da! You can do all kinds of things with this. A red and white silk. You can pull out candy canes. You can make letters disappear and end up at the North Pole. There's all kinds of things. If you do any kind of slight magic, this is good for you. These are normally $12 on our site, $9 to ship, so that's $21. You're going to get it for $10. There ain't going to be no shipping, but every good performer always has 2. So we're going to give you a special 2 for $20. Get your bags. Get them today while they're there. They're hot. Hey, anyways, that's the deal for today.
That's a heck of a deal right there for sure. Okay, now remember, folks, this is good through next Monday, April 25th. So grab you a couple of those and learn how to use them and have a fantastic time with them. They are a blast.
2 for 20.
2 for 20. That's correct. Okay, Spangle, stay with us while we do this.
You are watching the Tuesday Night Live show with Bob, Barry, and Angela. Sponsored by StuffForSanta.com and SchoolOfSantas.com, where you can find everything you need to support your Santa and Mrs. Claus business. Remember, if Spangle ain't got it, it doesn't exist. So contact Spangle at StuffForSanta.com today. Now back to the show.
All right,
Hey.
trivia question.
The trivia question. Yeah, and before I even read the trivia question, I want you guys to know the answer to this trivia question really relates to me. Okay. But, anyways, in 1927, in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, what was the first ever giant balloon character? In the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in 1927, what was the first giant balloon character?
That's correct. Go ahead and start throwing your answers in there. Remember, we will reveal the answer to the trivia questions, both of them, towards the end of the show. Yeah, this is pretty cool. Matter of fact, Barry said he had never heard of the particular character before. So,
Well, this character really relates to me.
well, and of course, balloon characters in general, because 25,000,
About 2,500, maybe.
2,500. Okay, different balloon characters that you do in your performance.
Hey, can I say something about the school?
You sure can.
The schoolofsantas.com. Hey, we are over 100 people, and we're only going to about 115. So if you're on the fence, get in it. Schoolofsantas.com.
That's correct. All right, so I see a correct answer in the comments there. So keep them coming. We'll see who got it first. Thank you so much, Spangle. And as always, God bless you, brother. And we will see you after the show.
All right, see ya. Bye. Thanks, guys.
All right, Mo and Eric, let's move on to the next part of your story. Eric, in coming to you first, you said that you first put on the Santa suit in 2007. It was your first Christmas together, and the children and family were all downstairs. You went upstairs and put on the suit. Pick it up from there and tell us what happened next.
Okay. This is how this happened. It was really crazy. I go upstairs and put on the suit, and my son at the time says, "Mom, where's Dad?" She said, "I don't know." So I come down with presents in a bag, but I have on the Santa suit, and he is blown away. He
Lost it.
Santa! Oh my God! Santa's here! Santa's here! So, my wife's parents were there, and they started taking pictures, and they were videoing it and everything else. So I started giving out presents, and the baby girl, she kind of like, I think that's Dad. I don't know, but I think it is. And my son is like, "No, that's Santa Claus. That's not Dad. I don't know where Dad is, but Dad is missing it right now, and he's losing it." So I give them all presents, and I say, "Well, we took our last pictures," and then there was a picture where you heard the song "I Saw Mom Kissing Santa Claus." Well, there was a picture taken that my wife was kissing me, which is Santa Claus, and then I disappeared. I'll go back upstairs, I take my clothes off, and I come back down, and my son is like, "Oh, Dad, you missed him." I said, "I missed who? Santa was here, and how could you miss Santa Claus?" I'm like, "Well, son, I'm sorry." "No, he just touched me. He would. I don't know where he." I'm like, "Son, it's okay." "No, it's not."
And Mom kissed Santa.
And
Like,
Mom
you little
kissed him.
snitch.
I'm like, "Oh my goodness." I said, "Sweetheart, you kissed Santa?"
It was just on the cheek.
I said, "Okay, that's okay. You kiss Santa." I said, "You give him a kiss for me?" So that's how that kind of went. It started that way.
Yeah.
Don't be bad.
Sorry.
Well, Mo and Eric, tell us a little bit about some of your Christmas traditions around your house. They say everything's bigger in Texas. What do you got in your yard? Just humongous.
Okay. Well, we're in love with inflatables. So our entire front is covered with like maybe over 40 inflatables. We have various characters from like the Island of Misfit Toys. Yes. We have 3 15-foot reindeer, Rudolph,
yes,
Clarice,
yes.
We have Baby Rudolph,
the drummer boys,
the Sentinels, Yeah, we have 2 sentinels.
and we have a large fountain which we decorated into a camouflage into a tree.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we have to work on our military training, make sure we keep that sharp. So we have a fountain in the front, and what we do is we'll go and we'll cover it with a tarp and
Green.
turn it into a Christmas tree.
Yes.
And it's amazing because no one ever knows until we take the cover off, and they're like, "That's a fountain?" And we're like,
Yeah.
"Yeah." They're like, wow. We're like, "Oh, we did good. Top your collar,
Popular
man."
still. You did
Yeah.
good.
So yeah, we're in love with inflatables. This year, or this past season, we even added a Grinch hanging down from the roof.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. Really enjoyed that part.
I know the children driving through the neighborhoods probably love seeing that and everything. I have fond memories as a child driving through and seeing people's lights and decorations. Pretty cool you do that.
Yeah, it's actually funny because we had one instance where a little girl, okay, so her and her mom were walking down the street, and the little girl wanted to stop to see the inflatables, and mom said, "No, we need to go home." And she just fell out. And we were like, "It's okay if she sees them." She says, "But she won't leave." And she had to promise her to bring her back. And she came every single night all the way up to Christmas.
Okay, but you still have to tell them about the little kid that was in the wagon.
Oh, the little boy?
The little they had a little dad and son they will always come by the house around that time frame, right after Thanksgiving and anytime before Christmas. He would want to be pulled
In the wagon.
until he gets to the front of the house.
Then he jumps out.
Then he jumps out the wagon and he runs straight over there. The daddy has to catch him. So little kid, he gets really, really smart now.
Oh, yeah, he's real smart.
He gets it, he starts to pull the wagon now. So now what he'll do is he'll push the wagon
Into the street.
let dad go get the wagon. He'll run over to the and he's like, no. And then he'll want to hit the inflatables. I say, "Sir, it's okay." He said, no. I say, "Son, it's okay. You can go and play." He's like,
And he'll look at dad like,
but this is every year is something. Is another child is completely different.
yeah. And we always rotate the inflatables, so they never see like the same one all the time.
So you almost have a warehouse full of inflatables in.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's. I call it an investment. But see, when I was a child, I used to go and see all the people that would light up all their lights in front of the houses. So I said, I remember as a child, I said, one day I'm going to do something like that. I didn't know what it was going to be, but that is what inspired me to do what we do now. Because if I got inspired by just seeing the Christmas lights on somebody's trees, what type of impact could we have on the next generation?
Exactly.
The children that wants to, you never know what part you really do. And we never really knew. We thought okay, this was it. We're not going to do it anymore. Yeah, right. We got a rude awakening last year when people came and knocked on the doors and said, "Hey, what you all do really matters. So please don't stop." So I believe that was a message from God telling us, well, you started it now. You're not going to stop this, not on my watch.
And that's when we realized we need help.
Yes, lots.
When 2019, y'all put out on the Next Door app what y'all called a Santa sighting. Talk about that and how that led to you being Santa.
That's you.
You want me to tell it?
You tell it.
Okay, see what had happened was, that's how you know it's a story. What had happened was, we had the inflatables out and everything. And it was one of those, it started with us just sitting on our front porch, and we would wave as the drivers would go past the house. But then we realized there's an app called Next Door. So being the cunning Mrs. Claus I am, I asked him if he would like for me to send out a notification so more people would come, because it's one of those, at the time we didn't know, but people were spending money to take pictures, and we're like, well, we don't mind doing it for the community.
Yeah, just
So
the neighborhood.
They just have to bring their own camera. So I would send out a notification, like a 2-day prior notification. Hey, 48 hours on this date at this place. Santa will be taking a break from the workshop before he makes his final flight. You can feel free to stop by, bring a camera. You can bring your fur babies, bring your family, bring grandma, grandpa, Nana, Grandpa. It doesn't matter. Bring your friends. Come on out. Say hello to Santa. Take some pictures and enjoy your memory.
But we would always have to wait. Now, this is how the Santa sighting would go. We'd always have to. It would be depending on the weather.
Yeah. Because
we would. Okay, Texas is crazy with weather. And we would sometimes get very, very high winds in the wintertime. But if the winds get over 15 to 20 miles an hour, we have to take the inflatables down. And they wouldn't get the full effect. Don't get me wrong, they still want to come, but they still wouldn't get the full effect when everything is 15 feet tall and the kids are just running around having a glorious time. And the parents are like, oh, wow. Look at this. We'll do this every year. We said, well, pretty much, kind of, sort of, yeah. They said, well, how come you didn't tell anybody this before? I said, well, we gave you a Santa sighting. They said, no, you need to do this a lot more often. They're like, are you going to do it again tomorrow? I'm like, no, I don't think so.
Because it defeats the purpose
of the surprise.
Yeah.
But it's always weather permitting.
Yeah, I have a story that goes along in that same fashion. We have a couple of Easter inflatables. We have a lot of Halloween inflatables. I did a big Halloween deal for the neighborhood each year for about 20 years. So we collected a bunch of those. We also have a ton of Christmas inflatables. But I had one that was the Santa's reindeer barn. And it's long and has the reindeer head sticking out of each one of the little stables. And we got a high wind one night, and it took off. We ended up finding it across the way, stuck on a chain link fence.
Oh my!
It was ripped, all tore up, so we had to retire it. But now, when the high winds come, we've got a little brick out there that we take and let ours down and put a brick on it, to kind of hold it down. It doesn't blow away. But
yes.
Even with the anchors in the yard, if you get rain and the dirt gets kind of soft, those anchors don't really hold. So if wind comes up, they'll take off like a balloon.
Let me tell you a secret, Mrs. Claus. This is what the great secret. Use pillowcases.
And put rocks in the pillowcases.
Rocks in the pillowcases or sand or whatever you want to put. Tie them to the anchor, and then put those down, and they may flay up, but they're not going anywhere.
I like that. Fantastic tip right there.
We've been using that, and it's been working.
Very good. So after the show, I'll have to show you some pictures of our inflatables. I got a few that I'll share with you guys. Okay, so let's move on along here. Eric, you said in 2020 when COVID hit that a fellow veteran needed a Santa for a very first Christmas mart in an adjoining town. Yeah. That changed everything for you guys for the last 2 seasons. Tell us about that experience. Also tell us about the elementary school visit.
Okay, let me see. Okay, I'll let you do the Christmas part. You do the Christmas part, and I'll do the.
All right.
Okay,
fine. Okay. So, all right, at the Christmas part, what had happened was, all right, one of our friends he's a veteran. He owns a nursery, and his Santa had canceled on him due to COVID. So he had put out a notification. I mean, it was the last second. He said, I need a Santa. Can someone please help me? So we were like, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
So we just sent him a picture and said, hey, we're available if you need us. And immediately he said, I get a Santa and a Mrs. Claus? Heck yeah, come on. So we're like, okay, what did we just get ourselves into?
I didn't know.
Okay.
I didn't know.
So we had no idea when it comes to setting up. He said, look, I have a porch swing out there for you. I have like a tent that you guys can sit under. And we're like, cool, okay. We'll do it.
I mean, we didn't have a clue about pricing, about how long we were going to be there. We just knew we're going to bring our Lysol. Is that what you?
No, it's called Christmas Magic.
We brought our Christmas Magic.
Yeah.
Because little children don't respect
personal space
and boundaries.
Oh, it was awesome.
And they don't care that there's a thing called COVID. That I was told that Santa Claus can't get COVID. So I was like, and the children were like, Santa Claus don't get COVID. And they were in my ear. And
the
I could
very first child. So the photographer who's taking pictures, she had a bale of hay that was sitting in front of the swing.
Boundaries.
And 3 children came very first time. And they're supposed to
stay within the boundaries.
Stay behind the bale of hay. Nah. The oldest one comes right over and gets right in his ear and says,
I'm like, okay. What you gonna tell him? No, not.
I had the Christmas magic on standby, so it was okay. Everything was fine.
We started with shields, and it was like, no. Parents was like, shields? We don't care about a mask.
We're outside. We're like, only insects.
I said, got it. And they just, that was a blast. I mean, we laughed
the whole
time.
Now, keep in mind, we showed up at 11 o'clock?
Oh my goodness.
We showed up at 11 o'clock. It didn't end until 7.
That night.
We didn't eat.
No.
We took 6 sips of water between.
That was it.
Nobody break.
Nope.
Nothing.
Nothing.
So, yeah, that was an experience.
Woo. Okay, now, segue. On to the elementary school. Okay, this is how this one happened. On Next Door, the year before, we had one of the kindergarten teachers said, they asked, could we have come to their school?
To her classroom.
Yeah. Because of COVID it hit and they didn't get a chance to see Santa. So we said, well, sorry, it's kind of late. And she said she wished that she would have caught us. So we said, okay, well, next year we'll keep you in mind and we'll make sure we'll try to make a good connection. Well, what ended up happening was
we couldn't find
her. So she got off of Next Door. So I said, okay.
Intel.
I had to go back to some of my skills.
Intel. Stalker.
I'm not a stalker. So what I ended up doing was I found her. And I found out what school she was, and I found out everything about where we needed to go, and we shot her a message. And she said, well, she now has to pass that on to the principal. I said, that is fine. So her principal was hilarious. The principal said, look, I cannot authorize you just coming to one classroom. Yes. So what we're going to have you do is we're going to have you stand in the hallway during lunchtime. And your sole purpose is to just stand there and give the children high five and let them go to the eat. Then when they come out, you can give them high five on the way out.
Yeah. It started out as high fives.
High fives went into hugs. Hugs went into I've been bad. Hugs went into I'm telling. I'm snitching. Hugs went into Look, not just the children, but the faculty, the teachers, the superintendent.
Yeah, the principal said, okay, she's talking to the superintendent. I haven't seen you all school year. And now all of a sudden you're here and you have your camera? Wait a minute. What's the deal?
I mean, that was hilarious, but it was so much fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of love.
I mean, you could feel the love from each child. I mean, it was just, I had so much fun. It was, people said, well, would you get paid for this? I said, man, you can't put no price on this.
No.
I said, this right here, this is well worth any amount of money that y'all can think about giving me, but I'd end up giving it right back because I had more fun interacting with the little children
than anything else.
But the great thing about this was in the end,
they kept sticking their heads out of the cafeteria. They're supposed to eat. They said, "Oh, forget it. We want to see Santa." They're supposed to eat. So we said, "Okay, maybe we should go in there and hopefully they'll eat." No.
Bad mistake.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Don't.
If you ever get the chance to do something like that.
Don't.
And we had an escort. The escort was like, what code you call it?
Code red. Okay, we walked in and the children swarmed us. And it was like 6 rows of children, and everybody was hugging everybody, and they were hugging us.
They just wanted to get just a touch. I said, "But you just hugged me."
It was hilarious. The counselor gets on, code red, code red. They swarmed him. They got him. You got to come quick. And I don't know what kind of magic this principal has, but she went up on the stage and said, children.
And they just said, one, two, and they just.
Like,
I said, wow. She said, Santa and Mrs. Claus, would you all please come up here to, I'm like, oh,
yes, ma'am.
Okay, whatever you want us to do. She said, thank you all. And they gave us a nice little presentation in a little shit. I said, thanks. She said, okay, you've started something now. We need to book this. I'm like, excuse me?
And that's when we realized.
We said, okay.
We need help.
I need more than help. A lot more than help.
Old priest, new priest.
A whole lot of it.
And some holy water.
And some holy water.
Yeah.
That's too funny. I just love that. So let's move on. You mentioned school. Let's move on to SatBobS, Santa School. You said you realized you needed to become a business to ensure that you were honoring the suit while covering yourself. So you guys researched, became members first of IBRBS. Then you found the Lone Star Santas, found the Texas State Santas, and then ran across SatBobS, Santa and the Business Being Santa, all in the month of February. Can you tell us a little bit about the SatBobS class? And then Barry's got a couple of questions for you after that.
Okay. This class was for anyone that's starting and don't have a clue of what you need to do.
Or even if you know what to do.
And you still don't know what to do.
Yeah, take it.
You need to take this class. To me, personally, this class and this class only, because I got so much information. It was information overload. And then I was like, okay, wait, there's more classes? Wait. I could just take so much as doses. And you all were giving, I was drinking through a fire hose. And I was trying to engulf it all. And I was like, sweetheart, did you get those notes? Please tell me you got those notes. But
I got the notes.
But then you all gave us the books.
Yeah.
Best books in the world.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my goodness. I was like, I could not have asked for a better introduction, a better way of starting. I wish I would have taken this class in 2007 when I first started, because I would have known so much more how to handle certain things. I mean, you all are mentoring people. I never knew that we had mentors. I never knew that this community was this large, and they're so helpful.
And the encouragement, it really made a difference.
Oh my gosh.
And even breaking it down to being able to approach people, how to approach people, where to start from square one, with finding your identity, with how you interact with people.
Even the business part, what to charge, how to charge, understand what your worth is, understand the value of what you're doing.
And not feeling guilty to charge and when to charge.
Didn't have a clue.
Yeah, and even learning the difference between an agent and agencies that we didn't know. So that really helped out a lot.
So many different apps you can use for just mileage, for taxes. I was like, what? Okay.
And I think a lot of folks don't realize in the beginning that there is a lot of expenses to become a professional with everything that, between your costuming and your background checks, your insurance, everything that's associated with it. And that's always a question that you see day in and day out on social media is, what do I charge? So we've worked up a formula. We have a worksheet that we, work with in class. And, our class is really geared towards that 1st to 5-year Santa, because we do teach you the business aspect. We teach you so much more than that. But like I told you guys in class, you're not going to be able to absorb everything we talk about. We're just going to hit the highlights. The books go home with you. That's where you really learn. We give you the tools to take out, and it's up to you to implement them tools and, up your game from there. So we appreciate the good words that you give us on all that. Barry?
Eric and Moeisha, what expectations did you have going into the SatBobS class, and what was a couple things that you took away from that class that you didn't expect?
Expectations. Wow. What I expected, I got more. I expected to learn the business, but I was not expecting the improv. How you put us on the spot and told us, respond. Not react, respond. There's a difference. And when you put us on the spot, that put us back on the spot when we had to deal with children when they start asking personal questions. I think my wife did an improv where she asked that she thought that she was the cause of the parents getting divorced. And you all rolled that in and you showed us how to, I can't say manipulate, but how to handle that type of pressure, because that was an improv pressure point that we've run into before. And we didn't know how to handle it. Praise God, he got us out of that one, but now we're now better equipped to handle those type of situations.
Yeah.
So that was the biggest thing for me. The instructors were just woof.
And even with like Santa Doug came in, and for him to share with us what he does for home visits.
Oh yes.
We had no idea what was involved with home visits. So to be able to show from start to finish how to keep children and even the parents engaged and interacting and being part of the experience, we loved it.
Couldn't ask for anything better.
Yeah.
Best example I've seen.
And I even enjoyed Miss Christie when she came and we had a Mrs. Claus session, how she explained, how our purpose and who we are in conjunction with Santa and the roles that we play, from security to making sure Santa looks nice, and even, being his eyes and ears so he can focus on the children or that specific child at that moment. So that really helped out a lot as well.
Yeah, so that was Santa Doug Wright that you was talking about that came in about the making the home visits, what they are. And he was a last minute addition. We bring in different presenters for different schools, different locations and things, but he had a fantastic presentation. I think we all took something away from there. Barry?
Moeisha, you basically touched on, what you picked up as a Mrs. Claus. What as a performing couple did you pick up?
How we have to flow. Okay. I've seen other people flow differently from the way we flow. And we were being encouraged to be ourselves. I said, okay. They said, no, what you all have is okay. I said, well, don't we need to learn something new? They're like, no, what you all have is okay. I'm like, okay, what example could you give us to make us better? They say, you all stay the way you are. And the best thing I think that I took from that was be yourself. Because if you're yourself, you can't, okay, one friend of mine used to say, you can't beat you being you.
Yeah, and something that I learned from the class is that people are coming to see Santa. And when you put on the suit, you are performing as Santa and Mrs. Claus. And when we're outside of the suit, we're joined at the hip. As you can see right now, we're joined at the arm. But I mean, we do everything together. So when we put on the suit, we were performing as Santa and Mrs. Claus.
But that's just how we are.
But we were still joined at the hip. And even when it comes to taking pictures, we were always together. But now I understand that, it's okay to have, I won't be truthful. It's okay. I'm right here. Okay. It's okay to have separation for, picture purposes and even interaction. And while he's doing that, I can also help him and flow and entertain, the people who are in line and get to know those people. So even with the children, they're not as nervous as approaching Santa. So when it comes to being able to take pictures or even sharing with them some of their thoughts, ideas, and dreams, I'm not as nervous.
Exactly. I agree with you guys 100% on that. Okay, so we're going to be doing the SatBobS, not SatBobS, excuse me, the School of Santa's drawing in just a moment. First, let's go out to our viewers tonight, ask if anyone out there has any questions, either about your military history and or anything about the SatBobS class or anything about you guys in general. If you got a question, throw it into the comment box, and Elf Angela will get those put up for you. In the meantime, Barry, you want to go ahead and remind folks about the live stream?
Yeah, remember, if you're not watching the live stream but have a question or comment for our guest, just put the question in the question box there, and we'll forward them to our guests and do our best to get them answered for you.
John McLeod says, well, it was quick. Said, love it all, thank you. And AJ says, thank you both for your service.
Thank you for your support.
Great comments there. Would you both say that SatBobS have really advanced your business-focused element?
Yes.
Yes.
David?
Yes.
They say yes, David.
Yes.
Which, and again, we stress over and over in the classes that, those books go home with you. There is so much business information in that first book, the Red Book, that, we always like to say that the books are standalone. You don't have to take the class. You can buy the books, through Kindle and have that information available to yourself. But it's not only what the books give you, but everything you get in class, the interaction, the extra presenters, the workshops, the improvs. It's the little stuff that really adds up that makes a big difference in general. Okay, any other? Did you always appear together?
Yes.
Yes.
That's it. And, I can't see Eric performing without Mo because, like she said, they're connected at the hip. There's no doubt. When you guys said that you found your best friend and that person that you'd always been looking for, it is so true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Santa Jamie Dozier wants to know, what was your best Santa moment? Do you have any Santa moments?
Every moment.
Every moment.
Yeah.
Every last one of them. There's no one that overshadows the other. There's one I expect to be better than the other ones, but then once that happens, then they're all in that same basket. That they're all great.
Yeah.
Very good. Let's see. Randy Wagner, Randall Santa Checker Lee says, great show as always. Wonderful interview. Thank you for your service and thank you for your excitement as Santa and Miss Claus. Oh, that is so true. I told you guys you're going to fall in love with them. I knew this. They are so infectious. All right. So at this time, let's go ahead and move on into the trivia question answers for the, let me see if I can find my correct page here. Give me just a moment. Well,
While you're doing that, you want me to go ahead and do the point of view, Bob?
well, I've got it here. Let's just go ahead. This actor grew a beard and gained 40 pounds just to play Santa role, in which he won his only Oscar as Kris Kringle in 1947. That was Edmund Gwenn. And that was the Sleigh Driver Apparel Company trivia question. Now to the StuffForSanta.com and SchoolOfSantas.com. Question: in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade 1927, what was the first ever giant balloon character? That would be Felix the Cat. And I cannot believe I've never heard of Felix the Cat. Okay, now to you, Barry.
All right, guys, stay with us because before we close, we like to do a segment called Santa's Point of View or Point of View. We use this time as a teaching moment to share tips from our past experiences. All right. The point of view tonight is the importance of continuing education as entertainers. And I just want to make a statement. The Santa that refuses to learn, the children and the clients, is always going to be the losers. The Santa that refuses to learn, the children and the clients are always going to be the losers. And then 1 or 2 new things that you can learn can make a difference in a child's life and a belief in Santa Claus. And the best Santas always seek to learn, evaluate, and be open to new ideas and learning. That's tonight's point of view.
And that is so true. All right, so now it's time for the drawing for the SOS. Going to have Angela step over and do the drawing again as we did last week. We're going to be drawing 2 names. All right. See if we can get this done this week.
All right. We got Bob Collins.
Bob and Beth Collins over in Louisiana. How about that? Good job.
All right. Congratulations.
Let's do one more.
And Melissa Lynn.
Santa Mel. Over in
All right,
Arkansas.
congratulations.
Fantastic. Great.
All
All
right.
right, guys. So I'll be contacting y'all and see if we can get y'all set up for the SOS Branson, Missouri in July.
Question.
Yes.
Sweetie, go ahead and tell him.
Oh, Santa Berry, just real quick. I wanted to let you know that we really appreciate you explaining how the sleigh flies, using the airplane as an example. That was really awesome. That was
Thank
really
you.
awesome.
I
Thank you
totally
very much.
understood
Appreciate
everything you were talking about the aerodynamics. Got it.
That was great.
Well, of course, Moeisha being Air Force.
It helps a part of believing, as a child, especially those older children that really has doubts and questions. If you can give them that and everything, it's like they're in.
And we would have loved to have Barry come into the garden class because in the in-person classes that he does, which he will be in Tennessee here in May 14th, 15th, but those particular classes where he's in class, he actually takes 4 people from the audience, brings them up and as part of the presentation, which is really a lot of fun. Mr. Jamie Dozier knows all about that. He supplied lots of laughs at the Dixon, Tennessee class in 2020.
Yeah, I think Jamie was our exhaust for the jet engine on the.
It was the exhaust. And then, of course, Barry has expanded on that presentation since 2020. He's added some stuff to it. So always trying to give you fresh stuff and new stuff. All right, Barry, you want to go into the next part?
Yeah, Eric and Mo, thank you for coming on the Tuesday Night Live show and giving us your time and sharing so much of your story with us all tonight. It's been fascinating. Thank you so much. And again, thank you for your service to this great nation.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Eric and Mo, you guys are the greatest. We thank you so much. This has been so much fun. I laughed harder tonight than I've laughed in a long time. I tried to hold it back because I know my microphone was going to pick up a lot of it, but you guys are hilarious. What a hoot. Okay, again, from me and my family, thank you for your service. Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you for all tuning in. Watch the show tonight and each and every night. Remember, you can catch the recorded replays on our home groups, SatBobS, Santa and the Business of Being Santa, and on SatBobS Live. Remember to join us for the next Tuesday Night Live show every week, each and every week, 7 p.m. Central Time, same Claus time, same Claus channel. Thank you so much. Thank you, Martin and Eric. Thank you, Barry. Thank you, Angela. Thank you to the audience. Thank you to Derek Dugan and Spangle the Clown. We love everyone. Until next time, God bless. Thank you for coming.
God bless you. Remember, we do this because we care.